If you happen to tune into Pokemonth, you'll know I did a video on the 2 dubs of the Pokemon anime, but when it came to some of my info on the business related stuff, it either wasn't all correct or some things were missing. So I did some more digging and discovered some stuff that surprised even me. So this here is a follow-up with how the dub was handled, how it made the switch from one dub to the other, and some other bits and pieces, less opinionated and more objective. 4Kids did have the license to Pokemon starting out, but the first few seasons were recorded over at Taj Productions, owned by Larry Juris. Michael Hegney directed and wrote for the show, and he was accompanied by Jim Malone. Fans may know Hegney best as the voice of Psyduck, Charmander, Muck, and Jim Malone, he wrote the lyrics to Camp Pikachu for the Camp Pikachu short. The two of them freelanced at Taj and had worked on other shows prior to Pokemon, and eventually went on to become producers at 4Kids. Even now, Hegney is still active at 4K Media, where he works on Yu-Gi-Oh! Productions, doing what he does best. After 4Kids and Taj parted ways, Pokemon would be recorded in-house at 4Kids' own studio. At that point, Hegney went on to work on other 4Kids shows, while voice actor Darren Dunstan took on directing duties starting with Season 6. Earlier with Season 5, James Carter Cathcart took on script adaptation, assisted by Kathy Borland and several others. He's still in the writer's chair to this day, being the sole writer for Pokemon since the dub switch, and he also wrote the Poke Party dance song for the Gotta Dance short. Interesting how he wrote a song for a character he'd eventually play, and in retrospect, I can totally hear his meow singing this. Now, to clear up any confusion fans may have, the Pokemon Company International was always the overseer of the show, no matter who was dubbing it at the time. Think of how Funimation held the license for Dragon Ball Z, though it was initially dubbed by the Ocean Group. The current head of TPCI, Kenji Okubo, is actually listed in the anime's original credits under Special Thanks. By 2005, the company wanted to take the show back into their hands, have more control over it again. After 4Kids' contract expired, they looked around for another studio to work with, and they set their sights on their old buddies at Taj. When the switch happened, most of the voice cast did not make the jump over, save for a few incidental actors who did very minor roles, and Carter Cathcart and KZ Rogers. Don't know how, but that's just what happened. Oh, and fun fact, before Mastermind of the Mirage Pokemon, KZ actually voiced Ash once before, back in a Burger King commercial for Pokemon 2000.
Maybe we should have used the door.
As for the switch from Taj to DuArt, TPCI began to use DuArt to record additional material for the series, like the Pokemon Learning League games and what would be the studio's first animated products, Pikachu's Island Adventure and The Rise of Darkrai. Tom Wayland, who had done roles at 4Kids and previously worked at Taj as a dub supervisor, directed the DuArt stuff, while back at Taj, Larry Juris did the show. Eventually, TPCI made DuArt the base of their work and decided to forego using Taj, after which Taj had nothing to do anymore and shriveled up and died. In more recent years, TPCI has branched out to LA studios for other projects, but DuArt still does everything related to the show. And remember when I said I was confused about the whole music situation? I've learned it's also something outside of the dub's control, which I had a pretty good feeling about. From 1997 to 2012, Pokemon's music was handled by Pikachu Records in Japan, and they produced many soundtracks relating to both the anime and the video games. But in October 2011, their parent record label, Media Factory, was acquired by Katakawa Corporation, and the label was retired. The music for the games and anime are now split between two companies. Overlap handles the game music, and the anime stuff is handled by Sony Music Japan, and where Pikachu Records was pretty lax, these guys are very strict with their music usage. They also distributed the music for another Nintendo property, Xenoblade Chronicles X, and made copyright claims on soundtrack samples uploaded to YouTube. There was also that USB given out with special editions of the game that had DRM on it, preventing people from copying the tracks onto their computers. That may be why we haven't seen any release of the anime's background music since Black and White, why they don't use as much original music in the dub as before, and maybe even why the sneak peeks have original stuff intact, because they're not the official product, I guess? Like I said before, no official word has been said about any of this, but that's my theory. So there's the whole picture painted out, or at least everything I know for sure. If you decide to watch my more opinionated video on the 2 Pokemon dubs, just know that I'm only speaking in that video as a diehard fan of the anime who's watched it basically my whole life. If anyone who works on the show happens to see it and goes into it thinking I have a problem with them, I don't. That couldn't be farther from the truth. You're all very talented and doing work that I can only dream about doing. At the end of the day, I'm just a dumb kid talking about Pokemon. But hey, at least I got my facts straight. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, feel free to give this video a like, share it with a friend, subscribe, check out all my social media links, check out my Patreon page, you know, all that good stuff that I'm always going on about. I don't have much else to say, so with that, I'll see you all next time. Later.